Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just giving you a update on my journey as a software developer. As you've seen in my previous video on changing careers, this is the career path that I have chosen for myself. And I'm just going to be documenting my experiences as I try to change my career, and maybe you can learn from it, or you can just, be entertained. And boy, is this video going to be entertaining. So this is going to be me getting into a boot camp or not. We will see by the end of this video. So when I decided to take this seriously, I decided that if I were going to do this on my own, it would take too much time. I wouldn't know where to start off at. I wouldn't know what type of curriculum, because honestly, when it comes to coding and software development, if you go online, there's a lot of resources. Like, thank God for the internet, because there's so many resources that if you wanted to, you can become a software developer without any type of degree, any type of certificate. It's just that you would have to have a good portfolio, have good projects, and know what you're doing. For me, I'm more of a structurized person. I need structure. I don't know if I have, if I have ADHD or something, but I need like that type of mentorship. I need teachers. I need courses for me in order for me to stay focused. So I decided that the best option would be a coding boot camp. And when I presented this idea to my parents, who have understood my journey out of college, even in college, has not been a good journey, and that will be a video for another day if I'm ready to speak about it. But they knew that, what I've been through when it comes to my life so far, so they were willing to help me. I told them about how I'm passionate about it. I've been passionate about it for years, but I just never took that leap. So I decided to try and get into a boot camp. And so what I decided, I researched a lot of boot camps, because there's a lot of boot camps that, that are out there, because coding is such a valuable skill. However, I wanted to make sure I had the right one, and Hack Reactor was the program that seemed to be really good. I would go online and there was always positive reviews. The outcome of the program for a lot of the graduates was really positive. People were getting employed. They said like 98% of their attendees who graduated got a job afterwards. There was also support after this program finished to get you a job, to look over your resume and things like that. So I thought those were very important factors, and led me to the decision to choose Hack Reactor. So what I did was, instead of jumping into the interview, because you have to interview in order to get it, which is another thing that sold me, because I felt like if they want you to interview, that means they're very serious, and they want people who are serious as well, and that people who can take the program and be able to actually, be successful. Because some coding boot camps, they just accept anybody. They just take your money. You might not even be right for the program. You might not be ready to be in a boot camp, but they'll just take your money anyway, and then you'll be wondering why you can't have a job afterwards after spending thousands of dollars. So I really appreciate that fact. It was intimidating, of course, because interviews, especially for coding, is very, very intimidating. But I was willing to do it. But before I did that, I did their SSP, which is kind of like a preparation for those who want to do the interview, but want to practice more. Maybe they're kind of a newbie at coding, so they take that course. It's about, I would believe, I don't even know, I think it's 6 weeks. I believe it's 6 weeks or more. I can't even remember how long it was. That's hilarious. But so I started on May. I paid $250 for the SSP, and it was a lot of coding practices, a lot of videos. They had actual tutors and people there, coaches that would help you if you were stuck on a problem. The courses ran from 6 to 9 p.m. Monday, all day actually, every single day except for, not all day, I mean, it ran from 6 to 9 every day except for Friday, which was your day off. On the weekends, however, it was 1 to 8 p.m. So it was very intensive. It was kind of part-time work, so while I was working, I would go over and do the SSP, which was kind of hectic because my times coincided and I was just tired as heck by the end of the day, but I wanted to get into the program. Towards the end of the SSP, I realized I'm still not prepared for this test, so I'm going to try for the July cohort instead of the June. So I decided to take SSP again, and the good news is that they gave it to me free of charge. If you pay the first time, they'll give it to you again free of charge. So I went through it again. I really didn't focus a lot because, again, of my work, and because I've already been through it, so I was not doing it every single day. I tried as much as I could without like dozing off to sleep or whatever. So I have you know, I have my sickle cell anemia, so it's kind of hard to balance work and then go on to do another thing. So I would just get really tired, very, very weak, and so it was hard for me to continue on, but I was determined to take the technical interview because I really wanted to start by July. And mind you, we are now in August, but I wanted to start July 30th. So I took the technical interview and I bombed. I did not even go through the first question properly. I did not know what I was doing. I was like, I looked at all the problems that I worked on over the course of the few months, and it was nothing like what I saw. And it reminded it brought me back to school when, you know, when you're in math, whenever they like talk about a problem in class and they're like, okay, do this problem on your own, and it's completely different from what you learned in class. You're like, what the hell? But that's the purpose of being a software developer, is that you have to learn logically. You have to learn how to problem solve. And like, even if you don't know the answer, you gotta ask questions, you gotta research, you gotta like use MDN. Like for the test, we were able to use MDN documentation to kind of look up to see what it was, because my question had something to do with the date object, and I had no idea what to do with the date object. And I'll be honest, when I looked at the MDN, I still didn't know what to do, so it was a mess. But that's the point of it, is to problem solve. Like, that's all you're gonna be doing when you get there in the real world, is to solve, to do debugging and to solve these problems. So I obviously did not pass. I knew I didn't pass. They told me, oh, next week we'll give you the results. But I knew in my head, I was like, I'm not gonna pass. Like, I didn't even get through the first question, so how the hell did I get through? And like, lo and behold, I did not get in. So I was kind of devastated, but I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep practicing. I'm gonna keep going. So then they had like this new thing. One of the, I guess, I don't know what to say, what kind of role that person has, but they work for Hack Reactor, and they'll constantly email us about stuff that are going on in Hack Reactor, and they emailed us about HREXT, which is like, you can get into the coding bootcamp, but you'll have like 5 or 4 weeks more of practice before your actual cohort begins. So I thought, okay, this is pretty good, because that way, if I can get in, I can still get into the cohort that I wanted to, which by that time was a September cohort. So I went from June, July to September. So I was just like pushing it back. Like, okay, I have to study for this because I want to get in. I need to get in. I need to do this because this is what I want. I want to hurry up and get a job in software development. I need to get this. I need to do this. So I studied. I had a lot of things going on. I had my work. I had my acting class that I had to do. I actually stopped during acting class. I told my instructor, and I'll tell you about my acting class in my Get Ready With Me video and why I took an acting class. I'm not trying to be an actor, but I took it for obvious like development reasons and things like that. But anyway, I told my instructors I have to take this test. I have to like go outside and do this test online because I need to get in. And they're like, okay. So after the middle of the class, I like went back, went to my dad's place and just took the test. And so it was a very like, it was a 10-minute test. They timed you. You couldn't use anything, you couldn't cheat, you couldn't use anything besides MDN documentation. You couldn't look for the problems, the answer to the problems. So so the first few questions were actually like not as hard as the technical interview that I had, where with the date object and all that. It wasn't hard. There was nobody looking at you while you took the test, so that was also good. It was much more relaxed, and even though it was a timed test, I felt like, okay, I can solve this, I can solve that. And you know, it was nerve-wracking at the end just because whenever it's like 5 minutes left. Actually, it was not 10 minutes. That would be absurd. I think it was a 30-minute test, so, or something like that, because there was like at least 4 or 5 problems. So you had like pretty much like 5 minutes to answer each question. So anyway, during that like last minute mark, you're like, oh my god, I got, and you have to submit it, and then that's that. So then I had to wait for another week to see whether or not I passed.